finished.
Good job.
Thanks, Coach.
Mr. Carter, I heard you wanted to see me?
Hey, Sarah, yeah, thanks for stopping by. A friend of yours told me that you had an asthma attack over the weekend. What happened?
I was just running up the track and it kind of came on.
Are you okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. I had my rescue inhaler nearby.
What exactly happens when you do have an asthma attack?
Well, the airways in your throat, tighten up, and it makes it where it's hard to breathe, and you start gasping for air.
Well, that must be really tough when you're an athlete. People have died from that, right?
Yeah, it can kill you if you don't take care of it the right way.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I've been skeptical of kids when they use asthma as an excuse to get out of practice. Have I been wrong?
Yeah, you've been wrong.
Well, what can I do to help?
Well, I think the first thing you can do is prevent it by reminding everybody with asthma that 15 minutes before warm-up, you really need to take your asthma inhaler. And that's only if their doctor recommends it. But I know I forget sometimes.
Is there any other type of prevention?
Well, you should probably check the air quality online before practice, because if it's going to be humid or the air quality is poor, you probably shouldn't have people with asthma outside for very long.
Obviously, you need to be hydrated?
Yes, hydration and a proper warm-up is very important.
What's a good warm-up for you?
I usually start out by stretching, and then I move into walking and then a light jog. And I make sure I have 15-minute breaks in between each of those. And when it's cold out, I usually have a longer break than that.
Is it important to cool down?
Yes, cool downs are very important.
Why is that?
It's so that your lungs can go back to a normal state after activity, because you can have asthma attacks even after you're finished exercising.
I don't want anybody with asthma to exercise after I've talked with you.
Well, there's lots of people with asthma, even pro athletes. It's really nothing to be afraid of, but people's first mistake is forgetting all the warning signs.
Okay, let's talk about that then. What should I do if you have an asthma attack or if you have symptoms?
Take me right out of the activity. I mean, someone's health is much more important than the score of a game.
Should I go get help for you?
Yes, it's very important to go get help. I mean, you should never leave them alone. Send a kid to go get their parent or medical help.
Do all kids with asthma know how to use their inhaler, and should I know how to do that?
They should know, but you should know just as well. Because what if they have a bad asthma attack and they forget what to do? Then you would know.
How does it work?
Well, you take your asthma inhaler and you take a puff and you hold it in for 10 seconds and then you exhale. And then after a couple minutes, you repeat this process.
Do you lie down on the floor when you do that?
I usually sit down on the ground or in a chair, and I take deep breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth. And then while all this is going on, I usually take small sips of warm water, but not cold water.
So should you sit out the rest of the game?
I've been able to go back in the game after an asthma attack, but only if the conditions are completely gone. If they're still there, I usually do another dose of my inhaler, or if it doesn't go away, I really need medical attention.
Is that what your doctor says?
Everything I've told you comes straight from my doctor.
Well, I'm just checking. You know, sometimes kids like to push themselves, and sometimes coaches do as well. I've been guilty of that.
As long as you know the symptoms, I think you'll be fine.
Which are?
Coughing, chest pains, usually shortness of breath, wheezing, and flushed face.
Okay, it's good to know. See you tomorrow after school for practice?
Yeah, sounds good.
Excellent.
Asthma is a very serious condition you should never ignore. When you're working with students with asthma, there are a few key points to remember. Allow the student to use their rescue inhaler before exercise, if recommended by their doctor. Ensure that the student has an adequate warm-up period. Watch for symptoms like coughing or wheezing. If symptoms occur, have the student stop exercising and use their rescue inhaler. They should only return to activity if symptoms go away. If a student is having trouble talking, opening their nostrils to breathe, or breathing very hard and fast, get help immediately. Never leave a student with symptoms alone. If they need medicines or help, send them with someone or have help come to them. These key points are all very simple things you can do to help students with asthma safely participate in sports.